When you started this process, however long ago it was, could you ever imagine yourself in the position that you are in now? And describe what the last year or so has been like.
So if everything happened really quick, um, if you would have asked me January 1st this year, I would be a state representative. I probably would have laughed at you, but I had the right conversation with the right person at the right time in January. It really was a little bit of divine intervention, because if I had talked to this guy 2, 3 weeks later, it just wouldn't have happened. But it's been a wild ride. I've met a lot of people. I've learned a lot about our state and our city, and I was in leadership at Fort Smith, and it really showed me how everything's connected. And I wanted to do something to help. And when this opportunity showed up, it was my opportunity to serve, it's just been great. I'm on cloud nine, and this is great. And I've got a baby coming in December, first one, and so we just got a lot of great stuff happening right now.
As one of the youngest elected or will be represented in the House in Arkansas, how do you think that will help what you want to do?
Well, first off, it's actually surprising. We have some of the most young Republicans running, and there's a few guys, probably a handful of guys are about my age, so we'll have to stick together. But I think it really gives Arkansans in general the opportunity to be represented at all ages. There's a lot of younger people my age who, you're right, don't get that representation. It also allowed me to have a different perspective on the bills and stuff that are going to be passed and are going to be discussed. So hopefully that will help. And it's also just a great opportunity for me to learn. I am young, but I have a lot of energy, and I'm real excited. But I'll be able to learn from people who've been doing this for a while and who have seen this stuff happen before. So I just hope that I can just go down there and do a good job, learn a lot, and help the city and help the state.
Besides getting your feet wet the first couple of days of your first legislative session, what do you hope to accomplish for the district that you're going to represent?
Fort Smith, I mean, it's really just ensuring that we're getting our infrastructure where it needs to be to support the people who are coming. So whatever I can do to make economic development better in Fort Smith and the region. We know we've got foreign military sales coming in. That's going to be huge. We know we got I-49 about to cross the river. That's going to be huge. We got businesses who want to be here right now. And so one piece is making sure that I can help facilitate that in whatever way I can. And the other piece is, students in education. I'm a school teacher. I serve in that capacity. And, we've seen COVID and we've seen all this stuff happening, but we got to focus on literacy and make sure our kids can read. We saw national test scores just go down because of COVID and a variety of other reasons, but we know reading is important. We know that unlocks the future for a lot of kids. And so I want to do whatever I can to support that as well.
Since you are working as a teacher in school, is that a greater emphasis on making sure education not survives, but gets back on track to be where it should be?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think being someone who is boots on the ground in the buildings, right? I will be impacted by what laws and bills are being passed down. So I want to make sure that whatever we are doing is best for our kids, is best for our families, is best for our teachers, best for our support staff. So yeah, absolutely. Like I want to make sure when we're getting stuff back on track, and don't get me wrong, test scores are starting to rise again. Good stuff is happening, but I want to make sure that we keep going in the right direction and keep stuff on the rails. So Fort Smith and Arkansas can rise in the ranks.
How are you going to manage being in the legislature and teaching at the same time?
So I got a couple things. I'm going to have a long-term sub come in January. So I'm actually going to take the first work week off in January because the baby, and then January 10th I'll get sworn in. So typically we will be down there from Monday to Thursday, and then we're home on Friday. And so my goal is to try sneaking in on Fridays for a little while and just making sure my sub's on track, answering questions, helping them however they can. And I'll be able to email throughout the week and do that stuff. So they're going to get a lot of support. And I can give them a lot of direction. So that'll be good. I'm teaching engineering classes and coding classes now. And fortunately, a lot of that stuff, the curriculum's pretty lined out. So you're not having to create a whole lot of new stuff. You might have to facilitate, you might have to teach some extra content, get a little extensions and stuff going on. But we're going to make it work. It's going to be good. For a long-term sub, they have to be a certified teacher. So I'm hoping to find someone who's recently graduated in December to fill that role and need some experience. Because I know what it's like to be a December graduate looking for a job. So, this could be it for some people.
How excited are you about anticipating the excitement of the first legislative session? But at the same time, you realize it is a lot of work.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not someone who backs down from a challenge. It is a lot of work, but it's a great opportunity for me to serve. And that's what I like to do. I would classify my leadership style as servant leader. As a teacher, I serve to, help our community and help our kids. This is just another way for me to do that. So it is a lot of work, but I've also got a bunch of people who are going to be down there who can help me. Some of our senator coming up, Justin Boyd, we have some reps from the area who are definitely going to be willing to help me out because, high tides rise all ships. And so, there is definitely an incentive to make sure I'm doing a good job and an incentive to make sure that I learn what I need to learn so we can be successful.
Yeah, I imagine you're going to have a lot of eyes on all of you when the session starts. So, how important is it to have that relationship with the other delegation from the River Valley?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's critical. I mean, we know right now that what's happening in East Fort Smith, the intermodal, I-49, all that kind of stuff. We know that is critical for the future of our city and our region. People drive into Fort Smith every day from 45 minutes to an hour to work, right? That's only going to increase. So every representative and senator from the area, I mean, we all have to work closely together to make sure that the things happen that need to happen to make Fort Smith a premier city.
All right, Zach, thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.